All right, now it's time for it. A kaboom watch remains in effect, mainly targeting North Jersey, but can Central Jersey and even Southern Jersey get in on that? Well, let's find out. All right, so you might notice that winds are picking up outside a little bit. We have this Arctic cold front that has passed through New Jersey. These are the winds that are coming out of the northwest. And of course, it's part of our large Arctic air mass that's spilling out of the polar regions. You can see the real dark purples. That's the really cold stuff. But the cold air is advecting over New Jersey. And that's mainly due to the high that's right about here. I think it's up to, let's see, 1046 millibars. A 1046 high is a very strong high. It might even get it close to 1050 by the time it flexes completely. And, you know, again, air revolves around a high clockwise or anticyclonically. So that's what we're seeing right now. The front side of that high is just pushing all this Arctic air through. I've dropped about 10 degrees in the last few hours at most, and we're probably heading down into the teens tonight. So one thing I want to talk about is our snow map a little bit. Now, real quick, if you look in the top right of our screen, you see EPA-WA and Weather NJ. So we collaborate on larger events. You'll see the same two companies on the top right of the map over there at EPA-WA. We've gotten a lot of questions, a lot of confusion over that. Oh, you stole Bobby's map, and you know Bobby's getting messages saying, "Oh, you stole JC's map." No, we work together. We collaborate on larger scale events. Bobby like to stand, and I like to stand back to back here, somewhere along the Delaware River, and we respect each other's unique knowledge and experience growing up and obsessing about the weather in our backyard. So we use each other's home field advantage on larger events like this. I've known Bobby for 15 years. It is all good. No one is stealing anybody's maps. So just getting that rant out of the way. So I like where we stand generally right now. A couple models have come out since this map was made. But in general, I like where we stand in North Jersey. Central Jersey, you know, B and A are the most favored for kaboom. C's probably going to kaboom, maybe at least the top half of it. Possibly all of it. D's the zone that could really go either way depending on how far that mixing makes it north and west off the ocean into southeast Jersey. So D's is the most uncertain. It could certainly kaboom. It could certainly get held up in that six maximum. But you know, from what I'm seeing, I generally like where we are in North and Central Jersey. What I'm starting to get a little concerned about, though, is our zones E and F. I think we might be a little low here. You know, we won't make any adjustments until tomorrow for our last snow map that we issue heading into the system. We still need to review very important data tonight, tomorrow morning, into making that final call tomorrow. But as it stands right now, I'm getting a little concerned about these E and F zones being too low. You know, 3 to 7, 4 to 8. There's no doubt these areas are going to go over and mix. So, you know, what I'm focusing on right now is how much snow falls before that mix happens, right? So there's a few reasons why I think we might be a little low there on this first call as of right now. Number one is the whole Miller B idea that I brought up yesterday. We'll start with the GFS. Now again, you know, the Miller B in the last few days, it was taking the primary low sort of up into this area and then spawning secondary low really close to the coast and then moving out this way. And, you know, that's what creates the dry slot. It brings in warmth in this warm sector. It brings in more warmth this way since it's closer to the coast. And that's what's been dealing with a couple temperature issues that we've been seeing, especially on models like the Canadian, which I'll show you in a second. But look where the primary is here on the GFS today. If I rock, it only gets to there and then it transfers to the coast. Look where it is on the European model. It only gets to here and then it transfers. If we look at the Canadian, you know, first let's go back to yesterday. Here's that low way up here in almost to Pittsburgh, Lake Ontario. Like what? Uh, we knew this model was BS when it was doing this. We're not sure why it was doing this, but here it is today. Let's see, most recent run. Look at that. It's down in Alabama. What a change. And I don't think the models have caught up with that change yet as far as what that means downstream. So you basically now just have a Miller B that comes all the way over here and then transfers and comes up this way. And not that far offshore. Sorry, let me back that up. It comes up this way. The models are still showing a track closer to the coast. But what I think is going to happen now that all three global models are showing a primary more into this area rather than up here, I think this is going to respond tomorrow and possibly maybe take a track more like this, or possibly stay a little farther out to sea, and that could make this area a little colder. I think the models are going to respond this way. We're going to see the colder ticks south of all this. Because this is the Canadian right now, and it has the mixing line only at 95. Canadian had it way up here yesterday, so this is colder. But I do think that low is going to respond a little bit further out to sea, and we might start seeing that on the models as we go overnight here into tomorrow. The other reason is the front end of everything. This is the NAM NAM doesn't look good. NAM has mixing even north of North Jersey. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it's handling this well, primarily because of this. Right now it's showing snow over western Kansas. This is 2Z, which is 9 p.m. So, snow only in western Kansas. If we look at actual radar right now, look at that. It's over eastern Kansas. Snow's already on eastern Kansas, and this is zipping up into a precipitation shield. So in events like this, I'm not saying it's going to happen every time, and that means it's going to happen tomorrow. But in most cases, my experience is that the initial precipitation shield performs above expectations. The models don't really see it that well. More moisture. And once the system gets over here, once the primary is over here, it's going to pull an insane amount of moisture from the Gulf. The Gulf is so ripe right now of moisture, it's not even funny. So you're going to see a solid moisture tap out of there probably tomorrow when we wake up. It'll probably be a main point of most meteorologists tomorrow is pointing out the moisture tap, the subtropical jet moisture tap from the Gulf. So with that said, the RGEM model's handling it a little bit better. Upstream has a little more snow into western Kansas at this point. But what I really want to focus on is the front end of this system when it arrives early Sunday a.m. and why I feel that these areas E and F would at least meet the high range of the high end of these ranges and possibly a little bit more. I don't know. Let's look at it though. Let's trace this by the hour. So this is 6Z, which is 1 a.m. So this is 1 a.m. Sunday morning, about when we've been telling you that it's going to arrive first into, like that's 1, that's 2, 1, 2, right? So let's go into the first frame. This would be 7Z, 6Z is 1. So that's 2 a.m. light snow just into southeast Jersey, hour 37. Let's look at the temperature profile for hour 37. I mean, it's 15 to 18 degrees down there when light snow breaks out. Those first flakes are going to stick. There's no doubt this is going to stick, and it's going to be very high ratio snowfall. It's even colder aloft. So when this snowflake forms, it can't really evaporate because it always maintains in a solid state. So it's gonna fall and stick immediately. Let's fast forward from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 even, right? 7 a.m. It's been 5-6 hours of snowfall picking up into the moderate category now. So let's look at what the temperatures look like there at hour 42. 7 a.m. You're still cold. You're 15 to 18 here. You're a little over into the 20s at the immediate barrier islands, but for most of South Jersey, you're still in a high snow ratio zone. And then you get out, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, even 11 a.m. Sunday morning. And that's after about 10 hours of snowfall. And the snowfall is going to start light, it's going to become moderate, and then it's going to become heavy, where you might have 1 to 2 inch an hour rates at this point of time. And if we look at hour 46 temperature wise, now we're still in the 22, 27, 28, even the barrier lines are below freezing. Let's go out to the point where the sleet actually moves in. 2 more hours of heavy snow. So we're out here to 18Z, 19, 20Z. So that's 2 p.m., right? 2 p.m., notice the sleet moves in quick. So, South Jersey really only has this shot until about 2 p.m. At that point, South Jersey's done. So South Jersey's going to see all of its snow. Everybody southeast of the I-95 corridors, all of your snow gets seen between like 1 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Sunday morning. And at this point, how much snow is on the ground? Well, let's look. Look at that. You got 10, 11 inches over near Philly. You got 11 to 12 inches over here in southern Ocean County. You got 9 to 10 inches down in Cape May, Atlantic City. So this RGEM's, in my opinion, is handling the upstream observations, radar observations best. And look what it's doing. This is a lot of snow dumped in a short amount of time. It's Arctic snowfall. It's in the teens. It's 15 to 1 to 20 to 1 snow ratio. So, you only need a half of inch of liquid to fall out of the sky to produce 10 inches or more of snow. So, this is what has me just a little bit concerned, really, with our map, E and F zone. And I'll discuss this again with EPA, WA, as we do collaborate. We'll discuss this overnight tonight, tomorrow morning as the models run. But I could see us bumping up a little bit here tomorrow. But North Jersey, Central Jersey, you're looking about as expected, as called. On this map. I just wanted to point that out tonight. Now there's an interesting signal on the horizon, which I want to take a quick look at. We're going to back up to the east view. We're going to go to precipitation types. So this is our storm that passes through, and then we get to this period here. It's like Groundhog's Day. So the general January 31st to February 2nd is a storm signal that we've been, talking about a little bit in the premium areas. But this is showing up, and it showed up a few runs in a row. So it's something just to keep in mind down the road in February 1st, February 2nd ish time frame. It does look like another storm signal. I don't really like looking at the surface output. From this range. When we look at signals, we're looking at teleconnections blocking over Greenland, whether or not there's a ridge or a trough over the eastern Pacific or western U.S. We sort of figure out the signal that way. But this has been pretty persistent of a signal, even identified at the surface from this far out, February 1st or February 2nd. But more fun, no sleep for me, that's for sure. But so that's where we stand. We will update our snow map tomorrow. We will release that at 5 p.m. That'll be our final call heading into this snowstorm. We will have the map posted earlier, probably like 1 or 2 p.m. in Kaboom Club and in the premium areas. In Kaboom Club, we're also doing model run to model run analysis. We're going way above and beyond in there. Ask anybody you see in the comments who has the little subscriber next to their name. Ask them if it's worth it, because everyone seems to love it. There's over 1,500 people in there now. I go model suite to model suite. I talk about the changes as it's unfolding, and more importantly, I answer questions. I can't answer every question. There's too many of you in the public. 250,000 people, 300,000 people probably on all the platforms on. X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, YouTube. It's overwhelming to get to all the public stuff. But in Kaboom Club, it is prioritized that I get to your questions. Yeah, so I will see you tomorrow, I guess, around 5 p.m. with our updated and final call, or I will see you sooner in Kaboom Club. But everybody have a great rest of your Friday night, and please be safe.